verbs that do the same thing that we've been doing all along with regard to conjugating the verb at the end. The o, a, sa, amo, sai, san, those stay the same, but the stem is going to change. So what are the rules of stem change verbs? Well, normally it's the first vowel in the verb that changes, and it says normally because of number 3. The first vowel might be inside of a prefix, and prefixes are not part of the stem. Remember, there's 3 parts of a word. There's a prefix at the beginning, there's a stem or a base or a root in the middle, and then there are the conjugation endings, which we'll call suffixes for now, that go at the end. So for our intents and purposes, the suffix is o, asa, amo, sai, san. That's going to do the same thing that we've always been doing. If it's an AR verb, ER verb, IR verb, it's going to do the same thing. But the stem is going to change. So those are the stem change verb rules. Now we're going to come back to this here in a moment, that no change in nosotros or vosotros. We'll see that coming up live here in just a moment. There are certain letters that change to other letters in stem change verbs, and this is helpful to know because the letter A, for example, does not change to anything. The letter I, for example, does not change to anything. So here are the letter changes. O to UE, U changes to UE, E changes to IE, and E could also change to I, but that's only possible with some IR verbs. Not every IR verb does this, but some IR verbs change E to I. What that last little part means is that an AR verb is never going to go E to I, and an ER verb is never going to go E to I. The only ones that could are IR verbs, but it does not mean that every IR verb does. And we'll show you an example in a moment. So here's the verb jugar, and notice that in the infinitive, it's J-U-G-A-R, and then it says U-E in parentheses. We're looking in the upper right-hand corner here. Okay, now you notice that it changes, the U changes to UE. So we'll show you this a couple different ways. Here we have the verb jugar, which is in chapter 4b. And we notice that we have the AR ending, and we're going to take off the AR ending, and what we're going to have left is going to be our stem. So there goes the AR, and there's my stem. Oh, what happened? We had to add a UE. So we took out the U and we added the UE. We still have our same ending O at the end because it's the yo form. The to form is going to do the same. It's going to keep the stem that has changed. It changed from a U to UE, and then I add the AS ending for the to form, O-as. Here comes the A ending, O-as-a. So again, if that's for LA usted and it's juega, I have to again make sure I change that U to a UE. However, in the next one, we do not stem change. We keep the original stem of J-U-G. And then we are now putting amos. So here we see that there is no stem change. In the J-U-G, there is no stem change. And there again, there's no stem change in nosotros or vosotros. Same thing here with vosotros. It's jugais. There is no stem change, and we still do the same regular ending of A accent and then IS. And then it goes back to the stem change. For the last one, we have to throw that E in there and make it juegan for ellos, ellas, ustedes. So here we're back to that previous screen, and we now know why we have taken out the U, and then we have replaced the U with the UE, and there's my UE, there's my UE, etc. And again, remember, we're still doing our O, asa, amo, sai, san. That still is going to be the same thing. It doesn't matter whether it's an ER verb, I'd change all the A's to E's. If it's an IR verb, the only difference is nosotros, vosotros, but I'm still doing my regular conjugations. But here we see the UE. So that's what this means up here in parentheses. If there's a verb in the infinitive form and then next to it, it has either one of those changes, like IE or UE or I or something, then you know that it's a stem change verb. But again, notice that there is no change, no stem change in nosotros or vosotros. Yes, we are still doing the amos. Yes, we are still doing the ice. So that part is the same, but we did not change the stem in the nosotros. We did not change the stem in the vosotros forms. Okay, another way that you might see this displayed is side by side, the singular on one side, the plural on the other side. The singular I, the plural of I is we, the plural of you is y'all, the plural of he or she is they. And then if you notice that green, bluish green shaded area, they sometimes call it a boot verb or a shoe verb because that's supposed to look like a boot or a shoe. And what that is doing is showing you the changes, but it's also excluding the nosotros or vosotros. Again, there is no change in nosotros or vosotros. Okay, couple of practice questions. So hit pause on your video and then come back in a moment when you have the right answer. Okay, so here we are. Again, I have to come up and take off the AR ending, and then I have my stem, but my stem is going to change. Out goes the U, and in its place comes the UE, and then I have to remember to do O asamos son, and so your correct answer should be ellos juegan al fútbol. And the all is optional. Some countries use it, some don't. Okay, here's another one. This one has two verbs. She prefers to play soccer. So be careful with this one. Pause the video. Come back when you're ready. Okay, so first of all, we have to remember to take off the last two letters, IR, but this one is an IE changer. So again, remember, not every IR verb changes E to I. This is an IE changer. Okay, but we need to be careful with this one because PRE is a prefix. And again, prefixes do not change. Notice I did not also conjugate the verb jugar because it says to play. Remember, to kick, to run, to eat, to sleep, to anything is the most basic non-conjugated form of the verb. It's an infinitive. So we do not want to conjugate it. The first verb I conjugate, prefers. The second verb I do not conjugate because I want it to say to play. So I need to keep the endings there of the AR. Remember, prefixes do not change. Okay? Again, here's another one. Pause the video. Come back when you're ready. We sleep a lot. Dormir changes, the O changes to UE. Pause the video and come back. Okay, so this one, anytime you see the word we or y'all, that should be something that you remember. Maybe you circle it or underline it or something. If it's a test kind of situation, those should signal to you there's no stem change. Yes, I still have to conjugate the ending. But I'm not going to change the stem. So that O in the verb dormir, this O right here is not going to change. I'm going to keep that the same because there's no stem change. Yeah, I have to take off the IR, and yes, I have to add emos because I have to conjugate my verb, but there is no stem change in nosotros. Nosotros is optional, dormimos mucho. Okay, again, no stem change in nosotros or vosotros. And here's our last one to practice. Pause the video, come back when you're ready. Okay, this one we can see that there is an I changer because it's an IR verb. So some IR verbs do the I changer, the E changes to I, and some don't. So I take off the IR and out goes the E, and in its place comes the I. So this one might look a little weird, but that's how we're going to do that. And then I have to conjugate it correctly, and it becomes tu sirves los tacos.